What's your advice for Raila?
Use that power responsibly. And history is looking at you, Raila Odinga. Let not history say bad things about you when you've done so much for this country. Where Raila ulikula kitu ya Ruto. But because you are acting what is not natural, it's not normal what you are doing.
Happy New Year to you from whichever part of the country you're watching us from. My name is Jedel Kibra. I'm so glad that you've joined us once again on this particular 2025, the year of our Lord. I'm so grateful that you've been with us last year, and I hope you'll be with us throughout this particular year. I'm here with Prof. Manyora, the founder of this particular platform. Prof, great to see you this new year. How are you doing?
Doing well, and thanking our viewers, subscribers, fans, followers, and telling them let's start this year together again.
We're here, you know.
Let's thank God for keeping us alive to be able to see this new year. It's not everybody who gets that lucky. Yeah.
You started this platform after the handshake of Uhuru and one Raila Odinga.
Yes.
What is your message to Kenyans as you're starting this new year?
Step into Brooklyn Boutique in Juja today at JB Stores, first floor in Juja. Discover the latest women's fashion in jewelry, clothes, shoes, bags, and purses. Call us today at 0721 348 629. Brooklyn Boutique, where style meets elegance.
I was one of the voices that urged for that handshake, for some sort of sitting down of leaders, because I could see the country was burning if we were not careful, because people are talking of secession.
Yeah.
Central Kenya and the People's Republic of Kenya, and that was not a joke. Resist, boycott, and Miguna and David Ndii, and there were many things, and I said if we are not careful, we could lose it all. So for these years, we start the year, first, like I've said, we thank God that we are alive and that we made it to the new year. Not everybody has done the same piece. Many years back, I was involved in a small accident on the 31st of December. And just 2, 3, 4 hours before the clock ticked to usher in the new year. And then there's a song that now assumed a new meaning by, I think, Les Wanyika, Simba Wanyika. Kumaliza mwaka siku hizi ni jasho. Na wewe uliye mzima, shukuru Mungu. I was singing it at the ICU. So kumaliza mwaka siku hizi ni jasho. Na wewe ulio mzima, shukuru Mungu. So we thank God that we are here. And we urge Kenyans, let this be a year of difference. The things we have urged you, please think about them. Love yourself, love your children, love your family, love your country. There's no better way of showing you love your country than to ensure this country will be there for your grandchildren tomorrow. So if you are a thief, you steal public money. If you steal all of it, what are you telling yourself? Not anybody, yourself. Do you love your children and their children? Because you are destroying your country. There will be no future for your grandchildren.
Were you wrong? Maybe I should start with that.
Yes.
When you urged for the handshake between Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, and now we're having this kind of agreement between Raila Odinga and William Ruto, do you think that you were wrong when it comes to looking at the place of Raila Odinga in Kenyan politics? Some argue he was having a cooperation with Daniel Toroitich arap Moi. He was having a grand coalition with Mwai Kibaki, a handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta. Is he an opportunist now that he's with William Ruto?
I have always tried to defend and to explain Raila's position. If, for example, in 2007, he chose to be what many people would be, and including William Ruto, for example, he was hard-hitting. If it was William Ruto's victory that had been destroyed, this country would have gone up in flames.
Yeah.
But Raila, I think I always thought he put country first. In 2017, we are trading on very dangerous grounds, and I urged Raila Odinga and Uhuru Kenyatta, think about the future of this country. And many people did it. They may not even have heard my voice, but I was happy to add my voice. So when the handshake came, to answer your question, it was a relief to many Kenyans, not just to me. We are about to lose the country. The question you are asking, is it not becoming too much?
Yeah.
More particularly, in this particular handshake, what was this that was at stake? I think Kenyans felt they were getting to a point where they were asking Ruto to do either the right thing or leave office. So when Raila appears to save him, then that doesn't appear to be like what he has done in the past. People can't understand because people had pushed Ruto into either doing the right thing or leaving office.
Yeah.
Then Raila comes and everything stalls. You can't compare that to what happened before. So on this particular one, I'm not with him. But people have said, there are things leaders know we don't know. Raila could be having a game which would yield fruits, maybe. But just what we are seeing, I think this is not similar to what he has done in the past.
Do you agree with Kenyans that what he has done this time, he should either explain to Kenyans clearly what he's doing with William Ruto, or he should actually fail for AU? Because people are looking at the African Union chairmanship as more about Raila the person than being patriotic to the country, which is Kenya. Would you somehow believe that Kenyans are actually right when it comes to Raila becoming the chairperson of AU?
Right in the sense that they say they don't want him to get.
They don't want him.
By the way, if Kenyans' prayers were to determine Raila's fate, he would not get the AUC. First of all, some people are out of him. Some people are very annoyed with him. But some people want him to fail so that he can come back for Ruto. So it is true, like you say, many people don't support Raila for this seat. I do support him. I pray for him. We don't have to hate a man that much. Raila has done so much for this country. Even if we agree that this is a mistake, the one of Ruto, that to many people is a mistake. I wouldn't support it myself. But the guy has done so much for this country. If that AUC chair, the African chair, becomes the final crown he wears, I think that is okay. He deserves it. Yeah.
Despite what we are seeing,
Yes.
his Joho, Mbadi, or Paranya government.
Those are the excesses that make people hate him. Yeah. And in fact, if they had asked him, and I talked about it, that was the wrong route to go. Because the anger was now multiplied several times. And now, when you let them lose the way they speak, one day, we shall support Ruto today, tomorrow, and forever. And then Joho to Tawa, and then Mbadi, it speaks badly of Raila Odinga.
What is your expectation of Raila Odinga this year? Because so many people hate him. We cannot deny it, that there are people who don't want to see him. That there are people on social media who are tagging African Union, tagging African countries. I've seen emails and phone numbers of different presidents from all over Africa telling those presidents that Raila Odinga should not be the AU. What's your expectation for Raila Odinga now?
It is true people hate Raila. People hate Ruto in this country. But more people hate Raila. That's a fact. He's my friend, and I'm sad to say so. It makes me very unhappy that my friend Raila Odinga should be hated this much. As for this year, I don't know what he can do. A lot will depend on whether he gets the AU seat or not. Because I've said this. In the event Raila loses AU seat and doesn't run for president, or severe his relationship with Ruto and maybe support Kalonzo Musyoka or somebody else, people will suspect he was highly compromised by Ruto. Yeah, that's the AU seat that made you support him is gone. You haven't gotten it. And yet you are just there. People say, where ulikula kitu? Where Raila ulikula kitu ya Ruto? But because you are acting what is not natural, it's not normal what you are doing. One would expect you lose the AU seat, you come back and tell Ruto, okay, sir, I've given you sufficient support. Let's go back to basics, factory setting. turudi uwanja.
Yeah.
Mimi na wewe 2027 tunamenyana. Ama mimi na support Kalonzo Musyoka.
Do you think you'll get the same support? You know, Raila, you've termed him as a magnet.
Yes.
Do you think he'll get the same support if he quits, he loses AU, comebacks, decides to go against Ruto? Do you think Kenyans are in that position and do all over the country?
Raila is I don't know how to say. Raila is just not a magnet. When I say Raila is a spirit, people don't understand what I mean. Do you know people forget all these things and follow Raila if he comes back? And let me tell you, if Raila stands for this thing, he'll get it in the morning. All these forces opposing Ruto, they will see in him the best chance to beat Ruto. Even the Gen Zs will support him. Because they'll think he's the only man. Sure bet. With Raila, you know, Ruto will go home.
Maybe today you'll tell me what is it about Raila that you believe that they will still come back for him.
Let me tell you something else. The Mount Kenya now currently are supporting Kalonzo Musyoka. But there's some doubt in their mind. Because they are looking for a person, a sure bet, a person they are sure can beat Ruto. If Raila stands, I'm telling you, the Mount Kenya vote will go with Raila. Even Gachagua will know the best bet will be Raila.
But you've always talked about the mistakes Raila makes. 2013, 2017,
Yes,
2022, same people.
I think this time the people who would support Raila would make it very clear to him that support is conditional on him not repeating the same mistakes. It's very difficult. I've been close to Raila. I know how difficult it is. If Raila allowed people like us to run his campaign, he will win by 10 o'clock. Ruto could not beat him if I was in charge of his campaign. And me, I'm just a small person. There are bigger people than me. If Raila surrenders his campaign to other people, he will just win in the morning. Nobody has ever beaten Raila. How can you beat Raila? How? Kibaki didn't beat him. Uhuru didn't beat him. Ruto didn't beat him. How can you beat Raila? Is it possible? You can't beat Raila, at least in those elections. Maybe now because of age and what have you. So for Raila, it's never a question of the votes. The votes people give him is a useless, careless mistakes, which some people are beginning to think could be deliberate. You know, people are saying Raila maybe fears the responsibility of power. So he wants power without responsibility. So you unatisha too, bas. Then you become powerful like he's now powerful. No responsibility. Hakuna mtu anakuuliza kitu.
Kenya ikiharibika si wewe.
Wewe sio wewe. Because Raila winning the presidency is the easiest thing in the world. The easiest. I single-handedly allowed to manage his campaign. He would win with a landslide.
But there are a section of Kenyans who believe, even when we looked at the Gen Z protests, there's some who said, look, Raila kakando.
Yes.
We'll deal with this. Do you think the likes of Omtata could outshine Raila when it comes to trying to outdo William Ruto?
If Raila disengages from Ruto in a convincing manner and says, this time round, let's get this thing away from the establishment figures. Let's do it once and for all and do it well. Even Omtata will support him. Yeah, he will support. Everyone will support him. Everybody. No, how will you not?
You know, I asked you earlier, what do you think makes Raila become this, magnet?
You know, there's something mysterious about Raila, and history has such a people. People whose power you can't explain. I've seen Raila just being another man recently. And then he metamorphosized into something you can't explain. That's why I said he's a spirit. And indeed Raila is a spirit. Because Raila the man, can't achieve the things Raila achieved. I've seen men tremble before Raila. Mimi naona kwa macho, mimi nanyamaza, najifanya sioni. These big people you see around, nobody can be a man in the presence of Raila. Don't let anybody lie to you.
What did they become?
I've seen it.
They're not men.
I've seen it when men get in Raila's company, they cease being men. I see it, I observe even these big people. Let me not mention their name. Me, I observe quietly. Hata sauti ya watu haitokangi kwa rais akiwa na Raila. So there's something about Raila that is quite a force. And that's why if Raila were to come back from AUC after having lost, or even win and midstream, leave that job and come, he's the one man who can be sure to beat Ruto. Because I'm 100% sure, like can only say 99.9, that all the forces that want to remove Ruto will see him as the best bet. With all the mistakes he has made, Yeah.
Let me ask you honestly, there is abduction in 2024, there is high taxation in 2024, you know, there is corruption in 2024.
Yes.
Do you genuinely believe that if Raila wanted all things to end,
Yes.
because you say he'll get all the support he needs,
Yes.
if he wants Ruto to deal with all this, things would have changed for this country?
Yes, yes,
and looking forward,
yes.
would you say that Raila is the man? If he wants Ruto to change how he's governing,
Yes.
things can actually change. Could this be the case?
It's possible. It's possible. If, first of all, by withdrawing his support, like now.
Then should we put the blame on Raila?
It's not, I've said yes, but there could be a game he's playing we don't understand. If it is what I'm seeing, yes, we have to blame Raila. Because everybody knows, if Raila didn't support Ruto, Ruto will be home by now. And even Ruto knows, everybody knows. When the Gen Zs were on fire, and Raila didn't come through for Ruto, Ruto wouldn't be home. That heat was too much. The heat was too much.
Then what is your advice to Raila? When he knows and you say that he has the power at his hand, what's your advice for Raila?
Use that power responsibly. And history is looking at you, Raila Odinga. Let not history say bad things about you. When you've done so much for this country, when you sacrifice more than perhaps any other man for this country, don't let history say ugly things about you. There's time for Raila to make amends with history, make peace with the people he has annoyed, make peace with his country and countrymen. There's time for Raila to come out in a way that history will give him his fair share. But if he leaves things the way they are going, history will be sad in reporting the bad things about Raila. Even history itself will feel it. As history is recording these bad things about Raila,
History itself
will be sad that it has been forced to say the things and to record the things it is recording about Raila Odinga.
Well, thanks for tuning into that conversation. Happy New Year from us, from wherever you're watching us from. I've decided to focus this conversation on the only man that I think would help change things in this country. Have yourself a lovely rest of your day. Happy New Year. May all your wishes come to fruition.
Same from me.
Same from you.